Vivek Ramaswamy, former presidential candidate who's been a guest on this show a couple of times, he was recently on the PBD Podcast in Florida, a program I have also appeared on. Maybe I'll be back on that program soon. Who knows? We'll have to see. So Vivek Ramaswamy puts forward one of these thought experiments that is completely idiotic, but it's just complicated enough that some people might hear it and go, damn, that's a pretty good argument that Vivek is making. Now, I'm going to project my opinion onto this, which is this is painfully cringeworthy. This is one of the dumbest thought experiments about Trump's criminal trial that I've ever heard. Let's listen to it. If you don't understand it, don't feel bad, because this is Jordan Peterson-like in a sense. It's one of these things where you hear it, you recognize most of the words, but it doesn't quite make sense. And it's not because you're not smart enough. It's because it doesn't make any sense. All right, so let's take a listen. Here's Vivek exposing how absolutely ridiculous this Trump criminal trial is.
I'm not following the day-to-day, obviously, as the trial's running, but I read about the summaries in the evening, and I wanted to go tomorrow more just as a friend and now supporter of Trump to be able to actually show support by being present, not, in any other capacity other than my own. But I will say that every day this trial proceeds, the trend that I've seen, I didn't follow today's, but up to today, all we've seen is one more layer of the onion of how the whole thing's a charade, right? If you think about this, a good way to imagine whether something...
Okay, so now here's the critical part, everybody. Pay very close attention. Pay very close attention.
He's a politicized prosecution is, right? Because everyone's going to be, MSNBC has their histrionic points, and then they would look at people who are defenders of Trump, like myself, as being partisans on the other side. Here's a good litmus test, okay? If the prosecution's theory of the case said you did something wrong, what if you had done the exact opposite thing?
Okay,
let's play that out.
Sure.
Then that should mean you did not do something wrong, right? Let's try that on this set of facts. On this set of facts, the basic theory of the case is the prosecution says, in order for them to charge this as a felony, that Donald Trump's payment to Stormy Daniels should have been recorded as a campaign contribution. That's the heart of the case. Without that, they couldn't charge this as a felony. It would only be a misdemeanor that's outlived the statute of limitations. The falsifying business records, it's outside the statute of limitations. It's a misdemeanor, not a felony. The only basis for this being a felony is if there's a different underlying crime, which what they allege is that he made effectively a campaign contribution without it being recorded as such. So now apply my test. If the prosecution says that's the thing you did and it's wrong, imagine you did the exact opposite. What would the exact opposite be? The exact opposite would be Donald Trump using campaign funds to make a personal hush money payment. In that scenario, I have no doubt these people would be going after him, and they would have a much stronger case in that scenario. So now think about it. If he did thing A, right?
The funniest part is the panel thinks this is incredibly insightful. And I'm going to tell you in a moment. If you haven't already figured out why it's not, I'll tell you in a moment.
Break this stuff down. He did thing A, and you said that's wrong. Let's say he did the exact opposite of thing A and did thing B, and you would have an even stronger case for him. Then that means you were going to get him no matter what. So that is the proof that this is a politicized persecution through prosecution.
Now, these folks, the Viveks, the Jordan Petersons, and their followers, if they say something and you go, that's idiotic, that doesn't make sense, what they usually hit you with is, you're not smart enough to understand it. But the opposite of paying Stormy Daniels hush money is not paying her hush money, because you realize it would be breaking campaign finance law. Vivek has come up with this opposite test where he goes, okay, if the problem was that they use personal money for a campaign contribution, the litmus test for whether that's wrong is to flip it around and say, what if they use campaign contributions for a personal hush money payment? No, the opposite would be not doing it at all. Not doing it at all because you realize that it's the wrong thing to do. And whether it's a legal reimbursement or a direct payment or using campaign funds, that it's the wrong thing to do no matter what. That's the opposite. And but the panel goes, oh, wow. It's like saying, if person X is on trial for murdering someone via suffocation, what if they did the opposite? What if they murdered them by drowning? According to Vivek, if you say we would charge them either way, because it's murder either way, That's evidence of political persecution. And the panel was just amazed by it. They're like, wow, wow. Now, here's something really funny. The next day, PBD's co-host, Adam Sosnick, who's a nice guy, by the way, and we chatted when I was on with PBD, Adam actually stuck around after, and we chatted for a little while. Adam, the next day, tries to kind of bring this up. And it's so stupid that he realizes as he's saying it, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And he gets this glazed over, confused look because he realizes, man, that thing Vivek said actually makes no sense.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, there's nothing really illegal about this. You might say that it's shady. You might say that it's immoral. But paying off people hush money, I don't think that's illegal. We're about to find out. Like, what did Vivek say yesterday? That if you reverse engineer the story and if you do it the other way around, then they basically proves that there's nothing wrong with that. So if you actually reported the money that you spent on the hush money as a campaign contribution, like they're going to come after you either way. Yeah. So we're going to see what happens.
He's like, I don't know what that thing Vivek said about like the opposite and whatever. It doesn't make any sense. So these are the guru-like figures at this point within this MAGA movement. And it's a classic. Just check the comments. I'm sure the comments will be, David, you're too stupid to understand Vivek's thought experiment. That's the problem. You don't get it. It's just like when I criticize Jordan Peterson and the Petersonites show up, they go, David, Peterson's way out of his, you're not even understanding what Peterson is saying. That's why you're confused. You can't even understand it. It made no sense. It's the dumbest thought experiment you could possibly do.